Hey guys, welcome to the Irish Wrestling Podcast. Myself, Booker G. We're joined with himself, Mr. Foxy, the greatest referee in the history of Irish professional wrestling, probably the hardest working referee in the world, which you may find out what happened over the weekend of the anniversary shows during this episode. And also joined by Colin Byrne, formerly of a Kicking Out of Kayfabe podcast. Colin's going to fill us in what's going to happen with his podcast recently. We're going to talk obviously about the anniversary shows in Wolverhampton, Dublin, and Belfast. May go into the Wexford show as well, and give the ins and outs, maybe some of the backstage drama or ingoings and outgoings that may have happened during the weekend, and we'll fill everybody in on what you may have missed out on and what you're looking, maybe some of your favorite moments and stuff. So, Colin, we'll go to you first in the Wolverhampton show. I know it's something that you've recently watched on the OTT on demand. Overall, what did you think of the Wolverhampton show?
Yeah, I just got around to it today. Very good show. Really enjoyed it. In my honest opinion, probably the worst of the three, but I'm not sure if that's because I attended the other two. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm a bit biased, but I don't know. Like, obviously I wasn't there, so you don't feel that electricity.
Yeah.
So where I felt that at Dublin and Belfast, so maybe that's my reasoning behind it. I'm not sure. Mr. Fox, I think, was at all three.
Yeah.
Would you have? Where would you rank Wolver?
It was definitely like a very different experience. Like the production, the presentation, like it was just like absolutely amazing. Like even from like the presentation of the ring alone, like you had barricades, you had mats around the ring. It felt like I was at WWE like house show, because the ring was bigger as well. It was an 18-foot ring as opposed to our usual 16-foot, which may not seem like a lot, but like makes a big difference, like in terms of performance.
You get the 10,000 steps going up, running around the extra feet.
Those steps.
He's probably thinking more room to hide, is it?
But no, like it's like very very different. I think there was a natural buzz about it. I think because like Wolverhampton hadn't had a show in, I want to say 3 years, 2-3 years. Yeah. And also with the fact that it was OTT's first show over there. Mm-hmm. So people were definitely curious about how this was going to go. So it was a great turnout. Like, I'm trying to be very political here, like for just cause.
Well, just say it.
Because like I know I'll end up hearing it off the boss man. So, but crowd took a while to get into stuff. I think they're a bit off guard for the first couple of matches, but by the fourth match on the card, which was Fabio Martin Steers against Subculture, like they really like got the crowd into it, and from then on, like the crowd were on board for everything. But before that, they were kind of unsure what way to take the show.
Is that heritage of a British wrestling crowd though? They tend to be a bit quieter from what I've watched in other promotions. I've watched a fair bit of Progress ICW, and they definitely come up towards the main events and your bigger matches, but you do hear those. I'm not going to say crickets, like, because I think that'd be unfair, but like there is a few quiet times and earlier on in the shows where you're kind of begging them to kind of come up and kind of, me as a viewer, to kind of draw me in, let me feel that atmosphere, and I think watching the Wolver show, you could definitely feel it at the start of the show.
Yeah.
I think that the audio was probably a bit generous in the early matches. And just speaking to a few people who were there, they did say that the crowd did take it, as you said, it took a long time to kind of come up and get into it. But again, they're probably seeing people that they haven't seen. That a lot of them could be attending their first wrestling show or their first show, and as you said, hasn't been a show there in 3 years. So again, like, you can forgive them for that, for maybe like not being in it and taking that bit of time. So hopefully when Joe does decide to go back, as he said that he'd like to, that they'd be a bit more invested and kind of bring that electricity, that vibe that the wrestling crowds are known for.
Yeah, like hopefully, like if we were to go back, people will understand now what happens at OTT. Like, so therefore, like, they'll be a bit more invested in, okay, when I get there, I know I can actually have fun, I can do this, and it'll be a good time, and hopefully that'll benefit everyone, as opposed to just being a little bit tentative at the start and then slowly easing into it. Hopefully the easing process will be less.
Was there any fallout or any feedback after that show in Wolverhampton from maybe local crowds or maybe some locals who you may have bumped into, or saying how good the show was, or who weren't actually Irish?
It was, so like, anyone that I actually did get to talk to, they said that they enjoyed the show. Kind of like what I said at the start. It's like they weren't sure to know what to make of the start and like the first couple of matches, but as I said, by the fourth match, that's when they really like loosened up and actually got into it. So like, obviously you had the people that they wanted to see, which was Subculture. But also you had very talented people in the ring, like in Martin Steers and Fabio, like who told a story throughout the whole match as well, like of their dynamic of not liking each other and then slowly becoming
that team.
A team.
Yeah.
And Fabio getting cheered as well, which is a nice thing to see. So, but no, it was a fun match. Very, very fun match.
Yeah, definitely the standout when I was watching it today. There was probably the two matches that kind of stood out to me. Was the main Trent and Cardona, and that tag match were the two big standouts. And like Fabio and Martin just absolutely smashed it. Like they didn't look out of place at all in there with two ex-WWE superstars. It's like they held their own, and like it's great to see, because like, you know yourself, Foxy, we see them in OTT all the time, or Martin more recently obviously than Fabio, but we see them in Fight Factory, we see them in Phoenix and NLW, wherever else they do be. But like it's just great to see the recognition that they're getting from that wider audience now, because like we know what they can do, we've seen what they can do, and now they're being given that platform, or that wider platform to do it, and they're in there with two superstars and Flash and Andrews, and then they're obviously bringing them up to that next level then as well, you know. And like, yeah, it was definitely a great sight to see. Just not just as like a fan of OTT, but of a fan of Irish wrestling, to see these two lads, like you can see the progression. And like Fabio has been there. Fabio's been there for the last a year, or maybe even pre-COVID he was there. But Martin is like meteoric rise. It's like he's after coming out of nowhere, and no offense to Clayton Long, I love him, but splitting Rock Shandy is probably the best thing that's after happening to Martin Stairs.
Over the weekend as well, didn't they? You know, in Belfast as well. Like they're one of the stars of the whole weekend, really, weren't they? They really stood out from the Belfast show as well.
One of the funniest things looking at it as well, and I'm not sure if you guys noticed, they lost 3 of their matches. And that's one of the best things that I love about Irish wrestling, or indie wrestling in itself. They went to Wolver, they lost. They came to Dublin, they lost. They went to Belfast, they lost. and we're sitting here and we're saying they were one of the stars of the weekend. You know, you don't get that in WWE. You don't get that in AEW because they'd be buried. You know, or the fans are saying that they're buried. They're not. They excelled. They came up. They're there now.
You can look great in defeat. Like they had a fantastic outing on all 3 nights. It's just, and not only that, like they're characters that people have slowly become invested in. So therefore, they want to see everything that they do next. So it just makes it more, and especially by dropping those 3 promos the day of like Wolverhampton, like that kind of like helped them as well, like for the weekend. Which is, if you haven't seen it, go find it on Twitter because it's fantastic. It's just the boys like being the boys, doing a Michael Jackson spoof, and it's so brilliant.
Weird, but brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, one of the best things I've ever seen. But yeah, aside from that, obviously just to run through the results of Wolver, I'm hoping that anyone who's watching this has watched it by now. So the draw got the win over Lycos Hunter and Darius by cheating. No surprise there. A bell shot. I wonder why the referee didn't see that one. Yeah, he didn't know what happened. Move on to Haskins against Warhorse. A bit of a wild one. Obviously Vic in the corner of Haskins, the game changer. Although she didn't really get involved that much, but even just our presence is just it has that. It just adds so much to the match with her being ringside. And I think when Haskins was over, the few months that he was here without her, it just didn't feel the same to me.
She's
without
the
her
wild
ringside.
card. Yeah, she's the wild card for the overall package.
Yeah,
because she adds that air of like, oh, where's this going? Like, is this going to be a straight up match, or is there going to be shenanigans? And it that's absolutely fine, because if people are still guessing if she's going to get involved, that's fine, because it adds to the match as opposed to take away, because they're waiting for it, but like then they do be surprised, like, oh, she didn't get involved at all. It's like, it was still a good match. God damn, like. So,
but that's the psychology of having a good valet in your corner as well. Like, we've had, Sherry or Miss Elizabeth, or like even today, like it's Scarlett with Karrion Kross and stuff like that. Like, she doesn't really get involved in his matches, maybe shouting something in somebody's ear. Like, so, Vic does that as well. Like,
you're always watching them out of the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
That's it.
They just have to be there as a distraction.
Yeah. But yeah, solid match. Just a shout out to Danny if he's watching this. Danny got kicked in the nipple by Warhorse. If you want to go back and watch that, you'll see Warhorse kind of going over the rail, and Danny gets a nice shot in the chest area, a nice bit of bruising down his arm and across his chest. But yeah, the next one I was a bit upset about. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit upset about it. Session Mont Martina and Millie McKenzie got, in my opinion, ruined by Chuck Mambo and TK Cooper, because I wanted to see those two go. I wanted to see that the women's match, and I know it was a bit of a pop, and I know it was for the local crowd. But one of the takeaways that I've heard from a few people was the disappointment in not having that women's match on the card. I'm not sure how you guys feel about that, but like, I think like that was a match set up to that could have been great, and it didn't happen, But yeah, it was a shame that there wasn't that one-on-one or whatever women's match there.
I'll give you that, like, because realistically, I was looking forward to that match myself, because on paper that's a marketable match, like, then I'm in Millie McKenzie and Session Mont Martina, but like I understood that like TK and Mambo, like, I knew they somehow we'd have to get them to make an appearance somehow, but I was trying to figure out where, and unfortunately, like, this was the one that actually made sense to put them in. yes, we lost out in that singles match, but we can still have that singles match down the line. So it's a nice little tease of what could happen down the line, or a future if we go back to Wolverhampton. So but I was delighted for TK and like Mambo to get their debut. It was nice to just showcase what they can do in the confines that they were in. But no, I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed working with them. I always do. But yeah, it was a fun match regardless. Like,
Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
as you said, like I hope we do get that one-on-one match, or like I hope it's not the last that we see.
Have-
Millie. I'm a
have they
big Millie
ever-
fan.
Have Martin and Millie ever gone 1-on-1 before? No, any other promotion?
I'm sure
I-
they must have at some
I
stage. Yeah,
think at one point they did, but that was years ago.
yeah.
Like years ago. So
I know they've tagged a few times, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they must have had a one-on-one match there somewhere.
Mm.
Anyway, we digress. LJ Cleary against Jay, the next one. The Irish lads on show there, and again, like you couldn't have picked two better guys to put on that performance. Probably one of the best destroyers I've seen LJ hit. Just watching it, I actually rewound it like 5 times to keep rewatching it, and I was like, it was just so clean, so crisp. Like usually there's a little stutter or it stop. It was just so clean, straight through, and like beautiful. But the two lads absolutely killed it. And like if you're gonna pick two guys at the moment to put on that showing in a different country, like no better two, in my opinion. And I think they did the Irish justice by going over there and having that match.
Absolutely.
Were the crowd familiar with them? Did they?
They would have been familiar with LJ, like because
Yeah.
he's done like ICW and a few other promotions in England, but Jay was completely brand new over there. Now, I will, as good as these two were, like this unfortunately suffered from the crowd not being into it, like kind of like sitting on their hands and being hesitant.
Yeah.
Oh, then like the match itself was actually like fucking spot on, fantastically. Then like, and a great showcase of what the Irish lads can do.
Yeah.
But would have benefited so much more if the crowd actually like were invested in it.
Yeah,
So-
that's something that I think that I missed on the VOD, or it wasn't as noticeable maybe. Like again, they weren't electric, but like you didn't feel that dead silence or anything. But yeah, 100% understand that. Like if the crowd were invested in it, it'll bring the two guys up as well, you know,
Yeah.
in the ring, and they like you feel the electricity, and they'll feed into that then a bit more, you know. But anyway, Subculture obviously got the win against Fabio and Martin again. We already spoke about that, contender for match of the weekend. I think without a doubt. Gangrel against Mad Kurt. I hate Mad Kurt. I hate him. Like I just wanted Gangrel to just eat him or something. Like it was like, oh, I just cannot stand the dude. Like I've never met him, seen enough of his matches, but I hate him on social media. Like I hate him. He's probably the nicest guy in the world, but I hate him.
See the way you hate him?
Yeah,
That's his gimmick. He's
Yeah.
a troll. You're supposed to hate him. So you're the demographic he's playing against. So yeah.
Do you,
yeah. It's
do
obviously
you, do you
working.
hate him the way you hate Anita Vaughan, or do you hate him?
Oh, see, the thing is,
You
like,
need Vaughn's local.
I've never met Kurt. So, like, Kurt could be nice in person. I just hate Anita, full stop. In person, watching her on shows, social media, everything. Her and the Saviors can just go and show you, like.
But like for that though, like it was the first time working with Mad Kurt. I wasn't really sure about his gimmick, like myself, because I haven't really like seen much of his stuff. So when I kind of did a crash course beforehand, just like, right, what is his actual gimmick? and just making sure it's like, okay, I get it now. I get it completely now. And him and Gang, like, just to watch that entrance alone, like Gangrel's entrance, like in the hangar, like, was unreal. Like, just the music, the presentation, just that. Gangrel, like, deserves so much fucking praise for that whole weekend, because he didn't need to put in the shifts that he put in. Like, motherfucker, like, still wants to wrestle, like, properly, and was so easy to work with, like, absolute sweetheart, like, just, yeah, like, a funny moment in the match is literally, like, I'm having a full-on conversation with him throughout the match. Like, that's how easy it is to work with him. Like, we're going back and forth, but, like, literally 3/4 of the way through it, it's like he hits this big bleeding, like, superplex off the second rope, and he goes to pin Madcourt, and Madcourt is like, lift me up, lift me up, lift me up, lift me up, lift me up. He completely forgot, and it's like, oh shit, yeah. Then picks him up, DDT. It's like, we're going into the finish, come on. like even I'm just like, I'm counting, it's like 1, 2, does he know? Oh, hey, what are you doing? He just stops. No, but, like, it's just funny. It's like, oh yeah, I remember. Dude,
what were you talking about halfway through the match?
just
favorite vampire movies or something? Or?
No, just how that's for me to know, and then no, like, that's one the little perks of being good at
yeah.
So
that's
stays
cool.
inside the
Must have been a
ropes.
good moment for you as well, Foxy. Like, like, obviously you grew up watching WWF like the rest of us, like, you know, and I presume when you saw him multiple times on your TV screen, and probably popped to the Brood entrances and stuff.
man.
So.
Like, I was not the only. All right, here's one of the behind the scenes. So this was before the show. So they're doing the sound test for, like, for the staging and for the music to get everything lined up properly. And one of the music that they test out is his music. But when that music plays, literally look around, every single person is just bopping to that fucking song. Cause, like, so much so, like, the sound desk just decides play it out, and then they restart the fucking song. And we're just like, I'm all for this. Fuck this. Like, where is he at? Nah, but
Say the setup was brilliant. The staging was brilliant. I love that stage in Wolverhampton. Something that, sorry, I forgot to mention earlier, and I know that you said it, Foxy, about that setup with the split screens at the front and the stairs. I'm presuming it was stairs behind it, yeah, that you come up from stairs. But it just made that entrance in particular, the fact that he's coming up from the stairs and just the whole presentation just looked amazing. But, like, that, I love that setup. I loved that split screen. I love that you're coming up kind of between the screens, and it just made for it. The presentation was just so much much better than other shows that we've seen in Irish venues. Like,
yeah, like, it added a very different dimension to, like, the presentation and for what people can do on their entrances as well.
Mm-hmm.
That I was just like, this, like, it just suited some people so well, like, that setup. And, like, Gangrel, as you said, like, he's coming up and then he's going down the fucking ramp. Like, it was just amazing even for me at the start of the show to just come up those steps and actually walk through the entranceway, like, for to start the show. It's like, that's crazy. Just a rampway makes a big difference. Yeah. And I'm just like, this is why I love fucking wrestling. I just want to do that fucking entrance. No, but, like, watching Gangrel come out, like, yeah, like, I was a kid again. I was literally a kid again for that entrance. Like,
does he own the rights to the entrance music, or is that a WWE thing? Or
I don't know. I think he's just able to use the music, like because promoters just use the music. So I don't know. He could actually own the rights to be able to use it. But
didn't he use it in AEW or at that time? He was on AEW a few months back.
He probably did.
Yeah, they did the entrance with the Bucks, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
maybe
it could be like, it could be just because it's Jim Johnson.
Yeah.
Maybe like
free copyrighted.
Maybe, yeah. But no, like it was a lot of fun. The work with him really was. I enjoyed working with him. What was, so there was that match, and then
we went into Amari against Dan Maloney for the championship. Just a question that I have for you, Foxy. Just you might be able to tell me, is the reason why that match didn't go on last?
Yes, there was a reason, and yeah. I shall explain when we get to the main event. So
okay. Yeah, for me,
there was a reason for it.
Okay. Yeah, that great match. Two good friends, as we know. Told a very good story. Dan kind of saying like, yeah, I know you're me mate, but I'm coming for your belt and I'm gonna do anything to get it. But yeah, you could see the chemistry between the two guys. I could notice that there was that. Just when you're watching it, things are just so fluid, so smooth. You could definitely feel that. Like I'm no aficionado. Like I've never stepped foot in the ring. I've never taken a bump in my life. Never even gone to a training session. But like just looking at it, you can see how fluid they were and the chemistry that the two guys had together. How was it being in there with the two of them?
Easy, like so easy. Like it just, I didn't really have to know much. Like it just let them go. They were just having fun the entire time. Like they were talking back and forth to each other, just like throwing little quips in at each other, just like it's full circle. Like back where we started. Like it just, which is great. Like it's great chemistry to see, because hopefully if the camera picks up on that, it means that people will see that chemistry as well. And their genuine friendship will actually come across on screen. So they wrestle like mates.
Yeah.
Mates kick lumps out of each other. So yeah.
The crowd seemed very into it, as well. The crowd were pretty behind them.
Yeah, they're behind both of them.
Yeah.
They're behind both of them because they're local. They're a local talent. Like that's where they got their starts. Like, but yeah, no, very enjoyable match as well. Like that's gonna be the case for a lot of matches during that weekend. Like just great matches, fantastic like chemistry, fun is what I'd say, because they definitely had a lot of fun doing it, and I hope that the crowd had a lot of fun watching it. So
yeah, I'd love to see it being ran back. It's definitely one that I'm sorry I missed.
Yeah.
Being there live, because again, like you don't get the same feel watching on the video. Like
exactly.
I definitely want to. I'd love Dan to come over, and see that one again, or even see Dan again, like because the time that he was over in the complex, he ended up in the tag match. I'd love to see him in that one-on-one match. Obviously he's in and out of the ring, so you're not seeing as much of him. So yeah, I'd love to see him back again. Solid hand, and he is jacked. He's a beast. Anyway, Amari retained first of the weekend. Onto the main then, Trent Seven against Matt Cardona. What did they call this? A Wolverhampton something or other. I don't know what they went with. Wolverhampton.
Yeah. Insert hometown street fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah. So that's what it became, and yeah, it was essentially your like basically a typical main event that turns into a stip match, just because they want to be able to brawl around the ring. That's all. But no, this was fun. Like all like it was awkward only for the fact that like you had a couple of people in the crowd like just getting in the way, really, like not listening. But the match itself was very fluid. Like they bounced off each other really well. They obviously like there's some spots in it that are just like, yeah, some look owie, but like they're not. The belt definitely was fucking owie, that's for sure. Yeah. I got clocked in the head with a belt. Yeah, that was not nice.
Yeah, I have a note here saying this is where Foxy gets to have a rest and lie down on the ground for a little while.
It was a long fucking while.
Yeah.
God damn it. Like, I mean, I know I stayed down for a good while, but like, god damn, even this was like kind of like taking the piss. It's like, do I come back now? No, they're still going. Still going. Okay. Okay, here it is. All right. 1-2 kick out. But yeah, no, the match was really good. Like there was obviously some, because there's no DQ. Yeah, the two boys like the two boys come out. So yeah, Dan and Omari come out, hit Cardona, then Trent hit Cardona with his move. 1, 2, 3. That was Trent was the winner of the match. And it was during that count that I got hurt. Yeah, that was not nice. That was not nice at all. But I don't know if it's picked up on the VOD. I doubt it. But literally, like, so after the match, like, I kind of like roll to the outside, and I have Cardona's belts, so I'm trying to like, right, I'm keeping them safe, but also trying to, okay, what the fuck is wrong with me? But yeah, like when I eventually like walk to the back, I still have the belts. I bring them to the back. Yeah, like I'm in pain. But yeah, the reason why the matches had to be switched is because for those that were actually in live attendance, they were treated to a surprise appearance from Tyler Bate.
Which I didn't know wasn't going to be on the VOD.
Yeah. I was
until I watched it, and I was like,
yeah.
Why is this ending? What's going on?
Mm-hmm. That's why, because it had to be, it wasn't allowed to be on the VOD.
Yeah.
So it was literally just for the hometown. Just there you go, special appearance.
So I think just speculating now as well, because there was a lot of people asking the question.
Yeah.
Tyler was there, was on social media, everybody saw her. Everyone saw Tyler came out at the end. And everyone was asking, what's Tyler's contract situation? Is he still with DE? Is he back in Indies? Is he going to be back in OTT? I think the fact that he wasn't on the VOD, I think answers that question. No, he's not going to be back soon in any way, and he is still under contract.
Yeah.
So for people who were asking, if you do watch this, I think there's your answer. And again, that's not confirmed. I haven't asked anybody, but I think the VOD is after telling us that.
Yeah, I cannot say anything, so I'm not.
He wasn't a surprise to the roster. I know you obviously knew.
Oh, he was. He was a surprise to the roster.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was he? Oh,
yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, because he showed up midway through the show.
Oh man.
Like midway through the show, he just turned up, and when I'd seen him, I did legitimately think that he happens to be home and he's just checking out the show. No, he was doing something at the end. So yeah, because when you know of that, you realize why Omari and Dan had to go on before.
Yeah.
Because how could you follow that? So yeah, it kind of had to be done that way. But yeah, that was Wolverhampton.
Yeah, solid show. And again, as Joe said, I think he wants to expand. He wants to maybe go back to Wolver or maybe another location in the UK or other locations. So yeah, I'd love to take the trip over. This one wasn't doable, but yeah, I'd love to get over for another one. But I hope the Wolverhampton fans enjoyed it, but yeah, very solid show. They put on a good performance. We roll into Saturday, Dublin National Stadium. I don't know what the official attendance was. So I'm going to say about 2,000. It wasn't sold out. Let's call a spade a spade. It didn't sell out, but it was nearly sold out. There was only a couple of small patches up the back, and electric atmosphere. I was buzzing for that all week, all that day. Like those vibes were back. I think we spoke about this on the last show that we did. I didn't have that last year at the anniversary show. We were coming out of COVID. Things just weren't kind of like they just didn't have the feels that we had this year. But this one was electric. The stadium was buzzing, and it was buzzing from the get-go. And again, I think like just to fuck you English crowds, we were better.
But there was a buzz because of what happened in Wolverhampton as well. I think that kind of led on to give it even more of a bit of a buzz. Like we're already buzzing for it, but after hearing some of the fallout from Wolverhampton, people were kind of expecting a big surprise. Like obviously Tyler Bate wasn't going to come, but they were expecting some other surprises, which kind of hyped everybody up even more.
Like I made it my business to find out what happened on Wolverhampton the night before, because there was no way I could go into that show not knowing, or wait for the VOD, because like just in case anything happened. But as stadium openers go, and I think like we can agree on this, or maybe it's don't, maybe it's disagree. The stadium openers are always bangers. I can't remember a stadium opener not being a banger. And I don't think this one failed to deliver either.
This is the first time I ever seen that concept match in person. I've heard about it before, but having the 6-man tag turn into a triple threat for the three. I've never seen it done before, which was amazing.
We've done it a couple of times in the past.
Yeah. It was my first time. Yeah. It was amazing.
So just explain the concept a bit. A 3-on-3 tag match. Jay, Adam Axted and Charlie Sterling against Big Damo, Man Like the Reese and Warhorse. The winning team then goes straight into a triple threat immediately after, where they face off against each other, with the winner getting I don't know what they're calling it, briefcase of some sort, to get a future championship opportunity.
It's not a money in the
bank. Yeah.
Not
euro in the bank.
A something in a briefcase.
I want to know what's in the briefcase though.
Folder.
Like after Saturday, like there's a lot of things that could be in it. Like balls.
The speculation can begin.
But yeah, like the lads had an absolute banger. The 3-on-3 was everywhere. Great little story being told, because obviously you have Jay as the face, teaming up with the two heels in Charlie and Adam, and they played into it so much. I loved the Reese. Like the Reese was like doing all this to Jay and like giving a fist bumps and stuff in the ring, and Jay is there bopping in the ring as well to the music and stuff, and it's just brilliant. Great dynamic. But yeah, Jay and Sterling and Max said got the win, went into the triple threat, and was essentially a 2-on-1 handicap match. The draw just teamed up. I loved the little spots where the guys are just lying down for each other. So like get rid of Jay, like hit him, get him down. Okay, I'm gonna lie down for you. Okay, yeah, Jay interrupts, and then okay, right, let's get rid of Jay again, and then the other one lies down. And I think that was Charlie brought him up to the gods, and then ran back down to get the pin. Jay having to run down behind them, but great little play there with the guys. Jay obviously with the bit of the comeback and the roll up pin for the win to win that briefcase, and that place popped for that win. Shock, awe, joy, everything. Jay was gone. hugging his briefcase. But great moment. I loved it. I absolutely loved that opener. Again, like the OTT always delivers on the openers in the stadium, and this was no different. And definitely set the tone, I think, for the rest of the show. Got the crowd to come alive.
Big time.
I think we went into Foxy. You weren't reffing that match.
No.
Because your match was up next. I think you were on second.
Yeah.
So Ilya Zarkov, as we found out his name, and Renzo Rose against the Mott and Fox connection, or the Session Foxes.
I can see the tracksuit behind you there, still behind you.
The trackie on display.
Brilliant.
I'll let Foxy. I'll let you kind of bring us through this one. Like what was the vibe going into this match? How are you feeling? I'm sure you were a bag of nerves backstage before you made that entrance.
Yeah. Like, to say I wasn't like fucking nervous as hell. I said it in the weeks leading up. Like, I was nervous as hell. Like, I was excited but nervous, and that was no different for the day of it. But I wasn't. I think I was at more of a comfortable spot that it's like I wasn't nervous. Like, the nerves didn't get to me.
Yeah.
I was more calm and almost serene in the sense that like I know what I'm doing. Like, I know what I'm doing. It's more just overthinking it. That's all it was. I was overthinking it in the lead up, and eventually I just had to like stop myself and be like, look, just go out and enjoy it. Enjoy it for what it is, for what it's gonna be. Whether good or bad, just enjoy it. So like I had to kind of, so I had a certain idea in mind about what I wanted to do for it. But on the day of, I had to, which kind of knocked me for a loop, because I realized I was approaching it from the wrong aspect. I was trying to approach it as a wrestler, my thought process for it, as opposed to a referee, which is the whole point of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to rethink how we structured the match for it. It was only through like suggestion from one or two people. I won't name their names, just because they won't like be seen as like nice people. But no, like they were the ones that kind of like gave the idea. It's like, no, what if you did it this way? Like, done it because this is the way this is what makes more sense. So I had to rethink that and do the structure, but didn't get to do everything that I wanted to do. But what I did get to do in the match, I just had fun. It was just like, I was nervous going in. Why not play up it? And
Yeah,
it made
absolutely.
more sense. It made more sense to play up the fact that, like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, everything's all good in the heat of the moment, but like then suddenly it's like the realization kicks in, and it's like, shit. No, I'm not ready for this. No, fuck that. Like, no, I'm out.
But it works so well for the hottest hot tag, like fucking, waiting and waiting and waiting. Come on, get in, Foxy. Everybody's fucking screaming at you to get in when you hit that tag.
2,000 fans screaming your name, going, come on, Foxy, for fuck's sake, will you come on?
My biggest hope was that for people to, and I'd said it in the primer, it's like, look, if I can give you moments as opposed to wrestling, then I've done my job. Like, I've done what I wanted to do with this whole thing. And if that's what I gave you, then I'm delighted.
Stunner.
Like,
That stunner will stay there.
Stunner,
That's the moment. Like, again, I was literally just about to say the same thing. You gave us a moment, and that the moment for me. Now, other people might have other takeaways. That moment for me was that stunner that you hit. Massive pop in the stadium, and that's something that I will probably forget that match. I will probably forget the intricacies of it, but I will always remember that stunner. You know, like I always remember your dive in Belfast. I probably don't remember the rest of the match, but I remember you doing that dive, and that moment will stay there. And that's something that you brought to me. And thank you for that moment, because it was brilliant. I popped massive.
Yeah, I think everybody did. I think everybody was fucking in awe of it. Like, you know, it's just like, holy shit, he just had a fucking stunner. Like, it's like when you come out, you know, you're spitting the beer with fucking Martino. It's like, oh, is he going to spit it like Triple H spits it? Is it going to spray, or is it just going to drool down his face? Like, when you hit that, I was like, yes, he did it. And then I hit the stunner. I was like, yes, he fucking did it. He got Triple H and he's got Stone Cold. He can do it fucking all. Like,
so I'll give you so as I said, I was like calm and serene before going out. Like, yeah, do you want to know when like nerves fucking hit me? Open that bastard fucking can on the stage. I'd forgotten the timing for the
I didn't want to say it, but you missed your timing on the
absolutely
massive.
Like, absolutely. And I can see it on the footage, like, where it's just like I never opened a can so fast in my fucking life. Like, one-handed, just like trying to do it while playing up, just open, you bastard. It's like
I think you were in the moment as well, because I remember that actually when I was there live, and I think you were over playing to the fans, and I'm not sure if you heard it, but Martina was actually saying Foxy, trying to get your attention to come back over for that spot.
I could not hear, like, as I said, like I went out there like just completely calm, and I wanted to take in the whole thing. Like, that's why, like, then I ran around the crowd, like, just when am I ever going to get a chance to do that? Like, as an entrance, like, when am I going to take the time to be on the stage and actually like just acknowledge the fans, for them to actually acknowledge me, like coming out and actually cheer for me. It's like, like it's you don't get a chance to do that very often. So I wanted to take it all in, and it was the same with, like, even during the course of the match, like you think you're getting that moment, and then suddenly it's like, no, make you wait a little bit longer. Think you're gonna get it? No, just a little bit longer. And then finally, when it happens, that's when like people like, oh, he's all reacted, which is what we wanted. Even for the whole, like, even after the tag was made, still made you wait, and then finally, like, you got what you wanted, and it's just like, it means more. Like, to me, like, that means more, being able to do that and be able to make you really, really want it. So the fact that, like, when the first strike is thrown, it's just like, these are all for it. And then obviously, as you said, with the stunner, believe it or not, the bypass for the fucking kick was actually by accident. It was just like, okay, I know I'm gonna avoid this, but it's just like, it was just because the momentum kind of just took me with it, and I just spun around. I was like, okay, fuck you, here we go. Stunner. But like, no, like, look, I'd be remiss if I didn't fucking acknowledge, like, look, Renzo and Ilya, like, their timing and their fucking ability is through the fucking roof. To be able to perform on a stadium to the level that's expected of a stadium, and to be able to keep you engaged throughout, is unreal. I mean, like, fair play to them, like, all props to them, because like, for their first outing on a stadium, they did very fucking well, like, really fucking well.
100%. And not just Ilya's first stadium show, but that was his first match.
Yeah.
That was his first
Yeah.
OTT match,
First
which
OTT match.
again, and I can understand people and I can forgive people for not probably taking that in and not giving them props for that or whatever. But it was his first match in OTT, and he was probably as nervous as you were, you know, and again, the focus was more on you as well, which I'm sure he was delighted about. But yeah, the two guys, he's told a great story. Like there's no denying that. Great moment, great story, and yeah, he's all put in a great shift there. And we talked afterwards, and one of the first things I said to you was, "Did you enjoy it?" You said yes, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
You know, the fans got their moment, you enjoyed it. Like, even though you missed the can spot, it doesn't fucking matter. You know, it was brilliant in itself.
He was working injured, as you learned in.
Yeah.
True.
He sacrificed his health for our entertainment for those 20 minutes. So thank you, Foxy. Foxy, actually.
Like, and you never know. Never say never. Still, it was fairly open-ended, as it were.
Rematch.
Yeah, I know that there's one match on your bucket list as well, so I'm hoping for that one as well. So yeah, let's hope that could break and can get that one sorted at some stage.
That's like, if I was ever gonna finish up, that'd be my last one. That'd be my last match, regardless of anything. Like, don't care where. Like, so, but that would be my last match. So, and yeah. But yeah, no, like, that's not to take away from like what happened at the stadium. Not at all. So
exceptional. But yeah, Ilya and Renzo obviously got the win. I think it was right for the story. I called that result. I was talking to people beforehand. I gave my rationale behind it. I think it was the right result. For the two guys as well. Anyway, into women's championship match, Debbie and Emerson. These two were just ridiculous.
Shit out of each other, yeah.
Like Emerson dropping C bombs.
Jesus, like the stuff they were doing to each other is just unreal.
Tiger suplex off the top rope.
Yeah.
I thought Emerson was dead.
Yeah.
I thought she was dead. And I've watched that. I actually screen grabbed that footage off social media and I went through that frame by frame. I don't know how she is still alive because she didn't land clean.
No.
She I don't
landed
know.
Very like either high on the neck or
I think it was her shoulder.
Yeah, it was right up around. Yeah.
But like she was like halfway through a rotation when she landed as well. So it was. I don't know. I honestly don't know how she landed that, but like and was okay afterwards.
Yeah.
You know. But what a move. The chair spot as well when she got thrown into my chairs or our chairs, Jerry. We had to rejig the chairs after that as well. Like there was no holding back there. It was like,
I lost my Lucozade.
Not sure if you saw the picture on social media. I think Debbie put it up. I think they're John Morrissey's photos, but like there's one of them where she's like this, and it's just like so finesse. So it's like she's in the middle of a dance or something. You can just see Emerson hitting the chairs, like. But yeah, great match. Great story again.
Yeah.
I think
the
two of them have great chemistry together. And as much as Emerson is can I say cunt on this? I just did. But yeah, I want
she
to
wore
see
the t-shirt.
I want to see her back. I do want to see her back. She just brings that element. She's one of the best wrestlers in the UK and Ireland at the moment. And it'd be a shame for her not to be back. But I wouldn't be surprised if someone snapped her up pretty soon as well. You know, I think she was highly rated on the PWI list as well, as far as I know.
She was.
Was she up in the 30s?
She was high enough, yeah.
She was pretty high.
Exact number.
I think she was second after Alex Windsor. I think Alex Windsor was the highest, and she was second from the British people. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she got snapped up. But yeah, great match, great story with Debbie's dad in attendance as well. Great bit of play between Emerson and Debbie's dad. And then Debbie with the retention of the belt to another massive pop. But again, the crowd was so into that match, and it's so refreshing to see a crowd be so invested in women's wrestling. I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I love it because those two in there actually, like, they put their all into that, and they deserve that, the crowd to be in that. I'll get on to Belfast in a moment. I wasn't as happy with Belfast. But like, the crowd was into it, and it's great to see that. And hopefully the crowd does get more invested in the women's wrestling as well, because the girls are in there doing some great stuff.
Absolutely.
We move on to the Social Elite against the lad from the Flats. If the lads lose, Paddy retires. If Social Elite lose, Paul retires, Paul Tracy. But unfortunately, we got the raw end of the stick, and Paddy Morrow is no more.
Shocked.
How do you feel about that?
Shocked. I was shocked. I didn't expect it. I didn't realize that Paul Tracy was still active.
Like, it was surprising, like, to be honest, because like that was a match that could have gone either way, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have bat an eyelid, really, like, regardless, because both have been around like an exceptionally long time. Both have done an unsurmountable amount for Irish wrestling, and like the fact that it just, like, both were trying to wind down anyway, like, but I understood like the storyline appeal of, like, okay, this is Paddy's time to bow out, but like with Paul probably coming back and still serving as a mentor for the likes of Matt Smith, who is got massive heat, especially in Belfast for this.
Yeah.
Oh my God, did he play this up? But yeah, like, but it seemed like a very fun match. Like, from what I got to watch of it, I'm just like, yeah, this is nice back and forth, simple, but it seemed like they were just out there to have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, like,
it was definitely a bit of a roller coaster type match, if I can call it anything. It was up and down. You didn't know which way it was going to go. There were so many near faults. And yeah, definitely one of them that, like, the crowd was so invested in. We got a ref bump, and we got a worky return, which was to a massive pop. And I'm not gonna lie, when I saw worky, I was like, that's it, lads from the Flats wins.
Mm-hmm.
See you later, Paul Tracy, good luck. But it wasn't to be. But there's such an easy finish as well, like nothing extravagant. Like the roll up, it was
simple
like
out wrestle.
Yeah.
100%. There was a couple of good moments in it. Like Paddy surprised me with a whisper in the wind, which I was really surprised by. When he went up, he usually does the moonsault from there. He usually does the jump up moonsault, but when he did the whisper in the wind, I'm not gonna lie, that popped me.
Yeah.
But yeah, then obviously after the match, taking the boots off, like when the count came in, when the 1, 2, 3 happened, there was an audible gasp. In the stadium. It was like the air was after being sucked out of the place. The place went quiet.
Yep.
It went so quiet. And again, we talk about moments, we talk about reaction, we talk about people getting invested in it. And that in itself was a moment. That was, you could feel people were shocked by that. Yeah. And like, things aren't always going to be sunshine and daisies. They're not always going to like get the big W and get the feel good aspect of it. Sometimes you're going to have those sad moments as well, and that's part and parcel of wrestling. You have that roller coaster, those ups, those downs. But then the ovation and the reaction as Paddy was taking his boots off, like the emotion in the air. Like people were so emotional for that. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there was people crying in the stands.
I'd say there was.
I know there was people crying in the back.
Yeah.
Because a couple of them told me that they were welling up. Like, but yeah, like so emotional, and yeah, great moment for Paddy. Great platform and great area, like the stadium anniversary show. Like you couldn't pick a better time to bow out in front of 2,000 people, getting that reaction. And again, at the same time, doing what Paddy Morrow does as the coach now, putting over the younger guy, letting, as you said, Foxy match you. We're never going to hear the end of that. That's something that he will have for the rest of his wrestling career. He can always be the one who retired Paddy Morrow. You know, and like, I'm sure Paddy was delighted to be able to give that to him. You know, but yeah, what a moment. Again, something that will always stay with me as a fan, that like I was there to see Paddy's last match, you know.